Happy Wine Wednesday. Ah, I'm so excited. Okay, so today we're going to discuss red wine blends. Let me know, have you tried a red blend before? What do you think about it? Drop it below. Super excited for today. So thank you so much for watching. Please invite your friends to the party, mention your peeps as we're live. And so we can have a nice little conversation going. So let me know where you're from and what you're sipping on tonight. Ah, yes! Wine Wednesday. We have happy hour at 6 o'clock. So in 30-ish minutes. So it is time to hang out and sip some things. All right. So first things first, we got to open this bottle. All right. I like to use one of these, it's got the nice little foil cutter on the top, standardized corkscrew. I don't necessarily need anything super electronic or fancy. I feel like the electronic ones take forever to actually um, do the thing. So I like to be able to quickly get into my bottle. All right, so we're going to talk about red blends and what I am sipping on this evening. Fun fact, I noticed way late that it actually is not a blend, but that is okay. It's still a red wine and I will be enjoying it. So yes, queen. Yes. Hey Kyla, how are you? Yes, be like Kyla, say hey. Tell me where you're tuning in from, what you got going on, what you sipping on tonight. All right. So I love red blends. Kyla's from Nebraska, tuning in. Woo woo! All right. And let me just go ahead and introduce myself before we get all to the nitty gritty of wine and things. So I'm Tiara, aka T, the Wine Diva, and I love bringing joy into your life over a glass of wine. So I've worked in the wine industry for over 5 years now, and I have learned a lot about wine simply by drinking a lot of wine. I know it's a hard job. It's really a hard job. But along the way, I have built up my confidence in this beautiful libation made by the gods. And I have built my confidence in it, so I'm able to really talk about wine from a standpoint of what is going to best suit you and your palate, and also give you some good suggestions for wine pairings and the foods that you really like to help elevate that whole experience, whether it's for date night, girls night, boys night, just a fun night, whatever. I love to just give you some tips and some tricks around that, as well as giving you some ideas of what is actually good quality, because Kyla talks about coffee, y'all, and she was talking about, we were on a call earlier today and they were talking about the different things that you can find in some store-bought brands that's just not ideal. And the same goes for wine. You really have to be conscious of what you're putting into your body, whether it's eating organic or drinking the right things as well. So that's definitely something to think about, and that's not a topic for tonight. We're talking about red wines tonight, and I am going to talk about blends. So what are some of your favorite red wine red wine varietals? Let me know. I love Cab Franc, which actually is the kind of wine that I'm drinking right now. Tonight I am drinking our Dusk Evening Star. Oh my gosh. It is so aromatic. I'm just I can smell it from this far away. So when you have a wine in your glass and you can smell it without even having it all up in your nose, your nose all up in the glass, then it's really robust. It's got a lot going on with it. And so I'm this smells good. So it's gonna have to open up a little bit, so I'm gonna leave it in its glass over there. So what I like about blends is I think it's a really great entry level red wine. Not saying that if you are, a quote unquote wine snob, or someone that is really into a connoisseur, if you will, or wine enthusiast, you can enjoy a red blend. But when I talk to a lot of people, so many people are I am really interested in upping my wine game, or getting into red wine, but every red wine I try is bitter. That's why I like to recommend red blends. Red blends are fire. I feel like it's like the best of both worlds because you've got, it's usually a mix of something that has a little touch of sweetness to it, a little typically like fruit forward of a varietal, and then you've got something that's usually big and bold to create nice balance and nice structure within the blend. So it's just like a full on evenly balanced party hardy in your mouth. Kyla says she doesn't drink a ton of red wine, but Stella Rosa Black is her go-to. Okay, yes, and I know a lot of people who love the Stella Rosa. It's got a little bit of like Stella Rosa's got its bubbles to it. It's got its sweetness to it. It's got its popularity going on, but going back again to like what I mentioned a little bit earlier in terms of being conscious of like if you're buying something that is a commercial brand, where is it come from and who's made it and what can be in the wine could be like questionable. So something to take in mind if you're looking at sweeter wines is that sometimes some companies do add in extra sugar, and when you add in extra sugar, that's where like the hangovers come from. So like these are the things to think about. Not saying anything bad about them. I've been to the winery themselves, and I love going to actual wineries and trying different wines. I think it's amazing, super, super fun. And I always find that like when you go to that actual winery, like the actual place where they grow the grapes and all of the vineyards and all of that, you really get a better quality direct from winery than you do like a lot of times in the store, depending on like the price point and what you're really looking at, and if you're like in like a specialty store versus like, you know, like an everyday box grocery store. So things to think about. So let's talk a little bit about this particular wine that I am drinking tonight. And as we're like sipping along, please like mention your friends. Where are your wine loving friends? Bring them to the party hardy. So proper wine tasting technique. I love to go over this when I'm doing like tastings and talking to peeps and stuff, is like how to, even if you don't want to be a full-on wine connoisseur, how to go through the whole like tasting process like a pro, and so you can look like a pro whenever, you know, your wineries open up or, you know, whatever, and, you know, get the full vibe and the full everything of a wine. So the first one, super simple, you just got to see it. And see, it's 4 S's to make it easy to remember. Seeing is believing, whatever. So what I like to do is, if I remember, when I go wine tasting, it's really usually for me, it's about having fun and like party hardying. And so I typically don't remember to bring a white piece of paper, but when I'm at home and I'm like actually like quote unquote working, I do. So what you do is, and you can just put a white piece of paper or a white tablecloth. That's why when you're at like a fancy restaurant, there's white tablecloth, so you can hold your wine over it and check the clarity and the color, if you will. So you want to check the color, you want to check the clarity. If it's cloudy, it could actually signify that the wine is corked, meaning that it's like it's gone bad. If it smells like wet dog, that is a bad glass of wine and you don't want to drink that. You can actually send the wine back and you can tell your server, sommelier, whoever, the wine is corked and it's not time to enjoy that, right? It's time to throw that out and open a new bottle. So you want to like take a look at it, check the color. I would say this is probably like a garnet. It's like a deep, deep purple color. So we saw the wine, we swirl the wine. It's taken a long time to really like get the swirl down pat. Another way to do it is just putting it on the table and like putting it on like a solid surface and just like going around and using like the center of gravity from the actual table to like swirl it around, if you want to do that, especially if you want to go fast, because I have definitely tried to like do the wrist thing and like I'm cool, I got this, and then it's a 2 full glass and then I shower myself in wine. And you know, a wine shower is probably really good for the skin because there's a lot of like flavonoids, or I don't know the scientific terms, but it's got a lot of stuff in it that's good for you. And so, you know, like I could totally see like that being okay. But when I'm actually trying to enjoy a glass of wine, I'm trying to enjoy a glass of wine. I don't want it on my face. So that's what you do. So you see it, you swirl it, you smell it. And smelling, the important part of smelling is it's just to inform your taste buds of what is to come next. You're really just like taking a nice big whiff. You are putting your nose all up in the glass. There's no need to be shy. I'm smelling like leather. I am smelling tobacco, some dark fruit and berries, all sorts of goodness. Ah, yes. And then, of course, the best part is you get to sip it. Oh, man, that is yummy. Oh, that is so good. It is like got a lot of tannin, which tannin is like if you took a sock, I think this is the most visual. There's so many like other ways to describe it, but if you took a sock and ran it across your tongue, like rubbed it all through your mouth, that like kind of like drying out, gross kind of feeling, that's what tannins are. And tannins come from the skin of the grapes. And the longer that the wine is stuck with the stems and the skins, the more tannin it's going to have, the more color, more flavor and unctuous and awesomeness, in my opinion, it's going to have. It's also, this is a pretty dry wine. And one thing, like with the tannins, when you can feel a bunch of tannins, a good way to balance that out is adding protein. So that's why a lot of people say if you're drinking red wine, you need to eat steak. I don't think that is like a flat all rule. Like you can totally have like salmon with red wine, and we can go more into pairings and all that good stuff at a later time. But like, that is, if it's something is really, really tannic, you want something that's got some fat to it. You want something that's got some protein to it to cut it. That's why cheese boards are very, very common. Aperitif and little appetizers and stuff typically served with wine because it's got a good amount of fat and protein in it to kind of fight. Fight the tannins and all that good stuff. So this wine is fabulous. Excuse me, I would recommend this if you are someone that is into big, bold, drier wines. If you like Cab Franc, because this is 100% Cab Franc, the Dusk Evening Star would be perfect for you. But like we were saying, we're talking about red blends. So blends, like Cab Franc, I typically do see as a blending grape. We do see it as a 100% varietal from time to time, but I see it used a lot because Cab Franc's got a lot of body to it. It's got a lot of structure to it. It's got a lot of tannin to it. So it usually adds to the flavor profile when blended. So you can blend it with, like, say, like a Shiraz or a Syrah. You can blend it with Cabernet Sauvignon, a whole bunch of different things to get different flavors. And that's really the cool thing about wine. Between like the region that the varietal comes from, the actual varietal used, who the winemaker is and what their style is like, what they're trying to go for. Are they going for, California, which typically has a more fruity like flavor and like kind of fruit bomb up front to it, or are they going for more Bordeaux, like old world French style that's typically a little bit more earthy and got a lot more like grittiness to it? I don't know. If you will, so it's really like up to the winemakers, which is really cool, and why I really recommend for anyone that's interested in getting into wine. The biggest thing is that you drink more wine. Drink wine and drink it often. Yes. Yes. So speaking of drinking it often, we have so many super fun events coming up. So make sure that you're following the Wine Diva Tiara Facebook page so you can see all the upcoming events. We do a BYOB, BYOW, whatever you want to call it, free weekly Wine Wednesday virtual happy hour, which is going to start in about 15 minutes from now. We also do tasting events that include different themes like cocktail classes, cheese board workshops, and cooking classes, which are all included if you are one of my wine club members or one of my team members, wine club members. If you're not a wine club member, you can still come to the cocktail classes and the cheese board classes. You would just need to get the 3 featured wines, whatever we use to pair with the cooking and all of that good stuff. And that will be like, your attendance and your gift with purchase would be the being able to attend these events. Yes. So let me know, did you learn anything about red wines or red wine blends? How do you feel about red wine blends? Also, please remember to turn on notifications and subscribe to the Wine Diva Tiara YouTube channel, Facebook page, Instagram, and then listen to my Wine About It podcast for more super fun information. I'm actually going live tomorrow with Jen Kohler, and we're talking about numerology for our wine about it live podcast broadcast. So thank you so much, and come hang out with me in my Facebook groups. All right. Hope to see you later. Thank you.